You're Roger Goodell. So, Commissioner Mike Tannenbaum, how would you handle an apology to Colin Kaepernick?
I think this is a really hard spot for the commissioner because while he could apologize on behalf of the NFL, there's really not much else he can do in terms of getting Colin Kaepernick signed. And while I think the commissioner has shown great leadership, the draft, his recent video addressing social injustice, this is a tough dynamic for him because at the end of the day, he can't sign the player. So he should and could apologize, saying that the league could have handled things differently in the past. We've all learned recently a lot of things that all of us could have done better. But more fundamentally, as it comes to him signing, there's really nothing he can do except encourage teams to sign. And obviously the environment's different. And again, we talked about this earlier in the show. Fundamentally, there'll be 96 quarterbacks that are going to be ready to play this year because of COVID-19. And to think that he's not one of the best 96 quarterbacks is just inconceivable.
But, Mike, would you actually say the words if you were the commissioner? Would you actually say, hey, I'm going to come out on TV and say to I apologize, Colin Kaepernick, that you're not in the league?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think his video started with that where, again, I don't think Roger Goodell 4 years ago would have done that. So I think that was a meaningful step, certainly symbolically. And I think we have to take him at his word. What he said and how he said it to me was very powerful and authentic. And I think he should come out and say, yeah, as a league, this was not handled correctly. And now we have an opportunity to fix it. So I think he should apologize. He could. But then again, moving the story forward, Ryan, someone else is going to have to step up and sign him.
So, Commissioner Domonique Foxworth, how would you say it?
Oh, well, I think that the apology would be kind of empty. So, because if I were in that position, no one in the league has admitted to blackballing him. They didn't cut him. He opted out of a contract and then wasn't re-signed. So I don't know that you can apologize for blackballing if you are holding the line that you didn't blackball him. I guess you apologize for not supporting him and defending him throughout that and contributing to creating an environment where he was not an attractive quarterback. So you can apologize for all those things, but it all rings hollow as long as he is out of the league, and you can't make up for the time that he's lost. So an apology, I don't think really does much, but as a commissioner of the league, I think you probably do need to step out and say that you failed and the league failed to support a player who was on the right side of history in that moment.
Commissioner Dan Orlovsky?
Yeah, I mean, pencils have erasers for a reason, and it's okay to make mistakes and then apologize for them. And so, I think an apology is an important one. Opposing your past doesn't condemn your present self. And so Roger Goodell can look back and differ with what he thought then or what the decisions were then without having to condemn his 2020 self. And so I think an apology is important. And bringing it to the football field, I do think that Roger Goodell has the opportunity to have conversations with owners and look at the opportunity to bring Colin Kaepernick back to rosters. Again, bringing it back to the football field, if you're a contending team this year, you absolutely should sign Colin Kaepernick. I'll say that again. If you are a team who thinks you are a bona fide, real Super Bowl contender, Colin Kaepernick should be on your roster. If you're the Seattle Seahawks, the Houston Texans, Baltimore, Kansas City, Tennessee, Don mentioned Pittsburgh. It just makes too much football sense. But it does start with a sincere apology.
Yeah, and that apology, I think people know that whatever the NFL does in an apology is not going to satisfy everybody. But there's nothing wrong with going back and saying, hey, did we handle this right? No, we won't do that going forward. It'd be interesting to see what they end up doing.